All right, everybody, what's up? It is Chrissy here with Lions Nation Unite, and we're here for the post-game show. We get to have a more fun post-game show this time because the Lions won on the road. Very exciting, which is actually where, before we start, everybody make sure you like and subscribe, and we want your questions. So we want you to submit any questions you have for this group in the chat, and we want to address those. But first, I want to get the game reaction that you guys had, like, not now, but like, what was the initial game reaction? What was your response?
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's what I'm talking about, Herman.
I'm biased because as a receiver, as much as I want the football in the air. I 100% want this team running the football. Run the football. I don't care what it took, and I don't want them to stop running the football until Arizona forced them to do something otherwise. But this was a great win for the Lions. I thought they really controlled the tempo. And after the first swap of touchdowns between the two teams, I thought that Detroit did the best job of dialing it in and definitely making the in-game adjustments that we talked about this week. That was going to be key for them to come away with the win.
Yeah, every time Dan Skipper's in the game, good things happen. When you have that big extra lineman out there and you're just putting people in the dirt and running the ball, you give it to David Montgomery. He's gashing. He's getting 5 yards of carry. He's lifted off of the field, getting first downs. Like it is a good sign when the Lions offense is running the ball, and the defense was fantastic as well. So it was a great all-around win.
As we're talking about this running game, we did get one question in, Herman, to your Twitter that I think is an awesome kind of add-on to this. It's, how good is the running game? Are number 5 and number 26 combined better than having just number 20? Don't destroy me in the comments. Just a question.
No. But you know what? This is a good take because I was asked this the other day. And when you can have two guys that you can rotate in, one, there's fresh legs. We call it fresh legs. You get a person that you can rotate in that beats down the defense. You got a great offensive line that is able to push the pile, that is able to do smash mouth football, ground and pound. And then third, when you come in, these are really good receiving running backs. You look at the one catch that Montgomery had, Jared Goff was looking to throw the ball away. and he picked it basically off of the ground and turned that into positive gain. So I'm telling you, and they are downhill runners, but they get to the line very quickly. Look how fast they get up on the linebackers when they break that line of scrimmage. It's like you have no time to react. So, hey, all I say is this: I love my boy number 20. I really do. But if I could have 20, basically turn them into a 25 or a 30 because I got a 20 and a 10, I'll take it. That's what you get with these guys. You're getting a little bit of that number 20 plus, right? Not that they're different in terms of individual talent, but I'm just telling you what a great tandem and combination to be able to hit a team with.
All right, I want to keep going with fan questions because we got another one I'd like you to address here. It says, Dr. Detroit, Herman, honest opinion, why is JMO not the threat he should be with defenses?
Well, he's a threat, but you got some games you're going to be that. We saw that in the first game with St. Brown, where he just wasn't targeted as much. It doesn't mean that JMO isn't still a big part of this offense. In fact, I think he's playing a big part of it just by the fact that he's still drawing that safety deep. Look at what it took. It took the running game to bring the Arizona safeties down and make those linebackers commit a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. They came out wanting to play a little bit of man. They got out of that real quick when they saw the running game, and it forced them into a zone coverages where Laporta, you got St. Brown, you got your tight ends, you got everyone working. So J-Mo's going to have his time. It's going to be consistently doing what we saw today, and then the play action. Jared Goff was excellent, I thought, with the play action pass today.
And I've been saying it all year. It's a how do you want it offense. How do you want it? You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, you have Jameson Williams, you have Sam Laporta, you have the run game. One of those guys isn't going to have a good game every week. That's just, you got so many mouths to feed. But as long as you get the win, I'm sure J-Mo's just as happy as he was week 1 when he got the win and he had 100-plus yards.
Ben Johnson said it this week. He said, week 1 it was Amon-Ra. Last week it was Sam Laporta. He literally said this week it will probably be Jameson Williams. And lo and behold, here we are. Yeah. I'm with Herman. He's still a threat to defense that's helping us open up things up in the middle, and that's where we work best. I'm glad we went back to it.
Let me say this also. What was interesting on this one is we knew that they were going to come in. Everyone talked about this running game needing to really be an integral part of the offense. They knew they could do it because they know they have a running game that is tough to stop. You have to show that you can stop it before you just don't call it. And I think what the difference was last week against the Rams, they just weren't calling the running plays. This week, they stuck with it. They got that 5 yards to carry. If you're going to get 5 yards to carry, no defense is going to stop you. You're going to convert third downs, and you're going to be in second and third manageable down and distance every single time. And so, yeah, somebody's going to get left out because when you start feeding what's working, then it's impossible to spread the love around to everyone.
Like, the best play call in football is victory formation. The Lions have like almost victory formation when they just give the ball to David Montgomery in the fourth quarter and he's just chewing the clock, getting 4 yards of carry, and just putting teams to bed. I love it.
Well, okay, so we just got this one, right? So great, gritty game, but when are we going to see the explosive Lions offense we're used to seeing? TJ seems a little more clock management. Is anyone else like so excited to see clock management? Because I'm thrilled to see clock management. I think it's the greatest thing, but I might be the minority.
That's how the Chiefs won last year. We saw the Kansas City Chiefs go from this Tyreek Hill explosive offense to Isaiah Pacheco, good defense, running the ball, timely throws. And that's what the Lions were today. When Jared Goff needed it, 3rd and 12, I think it was, or whatever, when he needed to make the throw, he made the throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown to get the first down. I would rather them just dominate the line of scrimmage because that's what this team's strength really is.
As long as we get the W, a win's a win's a win.
And it is. The running game, though, it's one of those tone setters. And if you think about it like this, it is a high percentage play when you can keep the ball on the ground and you can get 5 yards of carry. When teams are operating at that level, it is impossible. It's daggone near impossible for you to stop them because defensively, you're going to always be playing on your heels. You're always going to have your back against you. And then when it opens up the playbook, ultimately what it did, and I know I said this earlier this week, I said, go ahead and get ready for this not to be this highly explosive. You're looking for all these big passes, even on Arizona's side, trying to find Marvin Harrison Jr. I said, listen, they're not going to let him get over the top. The big play is all they have. Arizona had needed the running game. They needed that to make the passing game work. Mm-hmm. And if they go to the passing game, they're one-dimensional. And we saw that. As soon as you took that away and you took away Kyler Murray being able to escape and get outside the pocket, it was all of a sudden, it was pretty much done at that point. Mm-hmm. But the Lions, man, the explosiveness of that running game. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, when you're watching it on TV, sometimes you think it should slow it down just a little bit. Those guys are faster than I think people realize. And in the power in which they run, in the aggressiveness in which they run, you have to game tackle them. Otherwise, they get those extra yards or they break tackle. So, again, kudos to them just sticking to the mundane, the boring, and just getting the W. That's all that matters. And then you feed people. So, J-Mo, I tell him keep his head up. Don't worry about it. You know what? There's a lot more football to be played, and he's still going to be a big part of this offense as it continues to find that consistency.
Last week with 55 attempts, it led to nothing. We lost the game. Like that's just not the style of football this team needs to play. We need to keep. I call it Dan Campbell style football, man. Just gritty, just north south. I mean, they go spread it out a little bit when they got to. They got the weapons too, but your base, your foundation is just pounding that ball.
And it might seem mundane, but like Herman said, how explosive these running backs are with Montgomery. You think he gets one-on-one with a linebacker in the hole, he's running that dude over or he's making a miss and he's getting an extra 3 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, he can hit that hole and that's a 30-yard gain at any given opportunity. It's fun to watch this complex run scheme with all the different run blocking they do with Ben Johnson and just opening lanes for these guys to gash teams, especially in the second half after you've been beating up on them all first half. The defense is worn down. They're just still running the ball right up. It's awesome. I love it. I was so happy watching it.
Hey, even our guy Jared Goff, man. Listen, he ran and he ran 6 times. Yeah. He averaged 2 yards a carry, man. So there you go. I was saying, he's got to get outside the pocket. Man. Look, I say he's got to do a little bit more, but he got it. What the biggest one was the one when he ended up getting the first down. So there you go. All right. So I said, if he becomes a threat, I know he's not going to turn into Lamar Jackson. He's not going to turn into any Jalen Hurts or any of these other guys getting outside of the pocket overnight. But when he shows that he could be a threat outside the pocket and he could break your back like that, the last person you want is a guy like Jared Goff selling your faith with his feet. Come on.
That was the fastest I've ever seen him move. Like that first down he picked up, that was the fastest I've ever seen him move. He looked good.
Okay, so first I got to say, hey, Dina. Dina's in the chat, Herman. Dina says, what up?
What's up, Dave?
And just want to talk. So I know that, TJ, you were talking about, the explosive offense, and I understand what you're talking about. And Herman, I think you spoke to it earlier this week. And when you were talking about how when all the components work together, this is what it's going to look like. I'd love for you, how are we getting closer to what you think that will ultimately look like for where everybody's kind of contributing in a very complementary way?
Yeah, last week what I talked about, to that point was this is an offense that really has legit 5 base players. You got a tight end in Laporta, you got 2 wide receivers, you got 2 running backs. You have a quarterback that is seasoned, that if you give him time and you give him the right scenario and the right play structure in terms of how you sequence those in and make sure that he doesn't get put in positions where he's got to make throws that he shouldn't be making and he shouldn't be taking chances he shouldn't be taking. Look how methodically they move the ball up and down the field. This is the same Detroit Lions offense that became very dangerous during the mid to last part of the season last year, going into the playoffs, because you could not stop it. Only thing you could do is hope to contain it. That's the offense I want them to get back to. Now you get a Jameson Williams, who is now starting to come into his own. You see the confidence. I mean, he doesn't look like he's having any issues catching the football. He is catching them. I don't care if it's inbounds, out of bounds, high, it's low. It does not matter. We're not talking about his hands. Remember how it wasn't so far long ago that we were sitting there questioning whether or not he had confidence in catching the football. No, that's been answered. So now you've got all these questions answered on your offense. And all it now means, don't make mistakes. Make sure that you're very much in tune with your strength, being disciplined with what you do offensively. And when the explosive plays are there, because you're not going to catch and throw the JMO 10 takeoffs, right? So you're going to methodically figure out when that play action pass is there or when you decide to take a shot with them down the field. So that's going to come. This offense, the more it does what we saw today, the more you're going to force defenses to go, we have to abandon whatever we think, and we have to have a Detroit Lion offensive package in play. You can't play your normal package. You got to now adjust to that team in a big way.
And no disrespect meant by this, but Jared Goff, what he does in this offense, he must love it, because he just gets the ball in the hands of his playmakers and lets them take care of business. You get it to Amon-Ra in open space. You get it to Sam Laporta across the middle of the field. You do a reverse, the hook and ladder from Amon-Ra to Gibbs for the touchdown. Like, you just put the ball in the hands of the guys in space and let them cook. And it's as simple as it gets.
I love it. All right, so I'm gonna call an audible. Herman, I think we should give something away on this feed or this live. I think you should give some away. What do you want to give away?
You know what? I'm thinking I got all these graded cards that have low population. I think we need to pick one of those, especially one of those rookie cards, and we need to give that away. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that are collectors. So I want to give them something that you just can't. Hey, listen, you can't go to NFL.com. You can't go to DetroitLions.com. You got to come over here to LNU. You got to come hang out with me and the guys. You got to come hang out with Herman and the heavyweights and CZ if you want to get this. So, yeah, I think we should start giving away some of these graded cards that we have.
Okay, so we're going to give away a graded Herman Moore rookie card. And tell us, Herman, about how those rookie cards came to be in your possession.
I stole them.
Did you hear me?
I'll tell you. Well, go ahead.
What? You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to tell you about those cards,
What was that?
There you go.
My whole audio just completely went out.
I think
it's because my headphones are going in and out. You know what? I mess around with this. I'm not going to talk about these headphones.
I'm like, but everybody's laughing at me.
I thought you were doing it on purpose, because you were like, and then we go.
No, hey,
that's all good.
It was like, listen, I'm going to tell you like this. It said connected, disconnected. But I just keep going. I just roll with it. Because when you live, you got to keep going. You got to not miss a beat. And you have to make it seem like it's a technical glitch or issue. All I'm saying is that these are cards that come from my personal collection. They have not been released. if you see them out there and you didn't get them from me, it's not real. The ones I'm about ready to put out there for you because they came to my own private stash. I signed them. I know this is very low population.
Headphones away. Yeah. Why don't you here? Call me. I'll get you some technical difficulties, guys. This is what I want you to do while we have to fix Herman's technical difficulties. I want you to come up with what is the criteria. So we want to like and we want to subscribe. Okay. What do we need to put in the chat in order to enter?
MVP. I'm thinking MVP of the game.
I am too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say the last running back to go for 100 yards on this defense because nobody's been able to do that.
Yeah.
Easy money, by the way. Easy money.
Yeah. Every week, guys.
Every week.
If you're betting with up north, where were we at for the draft last year? Or this past season?
Soaring Eagle.
If you're at Soaring Eagle, guys, every single week, feel free to take the under on the opposing running back. The Detroit Lions have not let up 100 yards on an individual NFL running back in 2 years.
2 years.
All right? 2 years. I'm like 640 some days now, like in counting, because it didn't happen again today. My man Spinny sent his chat. Spinny, I don't want to say how much he won, but I just say my man Spinny's walking around pockets fat right now too.
Yeah.
Me as well. Take the under. People aren't going to do it against us.
Take the under on him. Take the over on our backs. That's where I made my living last year. Was over Jahmyr Gibbs every single game. He was at 51.5 for this game. Montgomery was 55.5. They had that in like the first quarter. Yeah. So it's
I
awesome.
think Monty had like 49 on the first drive.
Yeah.
Hey, I think somebody keeps taking changing my my roster, man. Somebody's in my account.
Oh yeah, by the way, he's up against me this week, and he was texting me after the lineups had been set, and he's like, someone was in there changing my players. But nobody changed your players. He's like, well, why don't I have this player up? That's always his accusation. Well, somebody did this.
Everyone's like, I had Josh Allen, Breece Hall, I had all these guys.
I mean, I had George Kittle this week, and I had two of my guys were out. Big time guys were out. And I'm still beating them.
Yeah, whatever. Somebody's in there messing around with my feeds. You need to stop playing around in my account. So I don't let people get inside of my account. Anyway.
I don't even know who I'm playing this week.
Herman, man, can I ask you about the defense today? How'd you feel about that secondary today, man? I couldn't contain myself. Literally the reaction I was given, that was like every time Curry made a play, every time Branch made a play, every time it was mainly the safeties. That safety
Terrion looked good too.
Hey man, with Kirby, with Brian, man, with Branch and those guys, man. Listen, all I know is that a lot of people were asking, do I think they're probably the two best safeties, in terms of a tandem running the secondary in the NFL? I think you got to make an argument for that. Like they're playing together. The secondary is going to continue to get better. The confidence is beaming. I'm also seeing them. They have, and Aaron Glenn, I'm gonna give it to him, man. He is basically saying these guys are going to learn by fire. He's letting them play man when he says, you know what, I think we need to play man. It doesn't matter. Is he trying to mitigate exposure and all those things? No, because those guys are going to learn fast and quick. And that's been kind of the mantra, and that's been kind of the development process. If you look back at all the players that this team has had to develop over time, because remember, we got some guys who weren't high draft picks, that came from different places, that weren't playing in positions that we thought they would succeed in. And they've had some guys come and go until they get the right fit. And these aren't all first-round picks, right? They're willing to get rid of a first-round pick to get a guy that they know that they are willing to be able to develop, to come in and play right up under a system. And that's what we're seeing because they're letting them play. They're letting them make mistakes. So when we criticize and say, oh, another PI, right? Or we see another hold, or we see a mistake that gets made, it's okay, because you know what? The more that are getting made now means the less you're going to get made as this team starts to develop. So I'm cool with that. I just don't want it to cost us games. But at this point, man, the secondary, I thought that was going to be one of the weak points. And I will say this. There's only one threat that they had to worry about, and that was really Marvin Harrison Jr., right? I know this team is going to struggle when they have multiple guys. We know that. So that's where I'm going to see them get tested a little bit more. So I'm not going to sit here and all of a sudden say, they're there. I think they're going to get tested when they have teams that have that combination of receivers and running back, and they have a viable tight end that can hurt you.
And I just need the people that were talking bad about Kirby Joseph last year. The people, all the fans that were throwing dirt on Kirby Joseph's name last year. What's going on now? I said he was going to lead the league in interceptions this year. He's getting off to a pretty darn close to that. You look at what he had to cover for last year. Carlton Davis let up the most yards, or not Carlton Davis. Cam Sutton let up the most yards in the NFL in one-on-one coverage last year. Now you have Terrion Arnold and Carlton Davis who can stay attached to their man. So Kirby can just play free safety, play that center field, and be the ball hawk that he is. We see him. He is the father of Aaron Rodgers. He is now the father of Kyler Murray. Like, I love Kirby Joseph. Him being free, open, and getting to the ball is the best time for him to play. It's awesome to see.
He got his pick, and then there was literally a play today where either one of them could have got a pick.
Yeah.
Actually, they both were there. It ended up getting dropped. Like, it was beautiful to see. It's honestly, I know we had Glover. Just shout out to GQ and anyone else who came before then. I may have missed, but like in terms of just tandem, well, actually, Hedabo was really good that year too. But in terms of tandem, this is the best tandem in my lifetime that I've got to like witness live.
Let me do this now. I don't want to start poking holes or sticking a pin in anyone's balloon.
Ask everyone to like and subscribe first and enter the contest.
Well, definitely we want people to subscribe. We want them to like. We want them to make sure they continue to engage us and enter the contest. As Chrissy said, make sure you enter the contest. You know, I get my subtle cues down. But let me tell you this. And this again, I'm going back to where I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna stick a little pin right into that balloon, just a little bit. The time of possession, when you can't sustain drives as an offense and you can't get your running game going, which you're the fourth ranked rushing offense coming into the NFL for the third week, then that's where you get to be problematic because you don't get to wear down a defensive unit. You don't get to all of a sudden wear down the secondary or any of the players. So you're keeping, again, fresh legs on defense. And your offense is now putting your defense under duress, and you're making the Arizona team have to sit there and sustain these long drives against a methodical Detroit Lion, ground and pound, making you have to play and earn every time you get up. You need your teammate helping you get off the ground. That is a grueling thing to ask from your defensive unit. So when we find offenses that can pick them apart, that's going to frustrate them, that's going to force them into something, then that's when we need to see the collaboration between those safeties talking, because that's when the communication starts to flow. That's when the disruptions start to happen. We didn't see a lot of motion from Arizona. We didn't see them doing a lot of combination routes or plays. They were pretty much single-sided, so it was easier to do combo coverages. And then Kyler Murray, I mean, he's going outside the pocket. He's just tossing a few of them up. When you start looking at it, there is no challenge in these guys having to chase anyone around. It's a fade route, cover, defend the pass. So what I'm going to look at is when you start having to get around picks and you have to start making calls and you have to then start switching and you're chasing guys across the field, then you're blocking, you're having to tackle. You know, their running backs weren't getting past the line of scrimmage. Believe it or not, when Montgomery and also when we had Jahmyr Gibbs getting out and breaking to that second level, you get your defensive backs have to get involved. You know, they have to get in the mix some way, somehow. So all those little pieces you chip away at a whole game, that becomes a factor. These are the pieces that don't show up on paper. So that's why I go, this was a great game offensively that helped the Detroit Lions defense because of the consistency and the drives of the offense. And then the time of possession definitely made this a game that turned the tides. And then you could see which team started to struggle.
And with
them stopping them made them one-dimensional, which leaves them susceptible to making mistakes, throwing those balls up, giving Kirby and Brian Branch opportunities of coming down with it and marching the ball down the other way. The defense is really what got me excited today. The offense, I'm glad to see him going. It was kind of stalled there in the second half, but like just stopping that run too, man. That's what got me going, man. The defense in total, I can't just say just stopping the run. They've been.
I want to say one last thing. You know what surprised me about the Arizona offense? You got a big guy. I didn't realize Marvin Harrison Jr. was as big as he was.
Huge.
And for them to leave him on the outside as much as they did, it's too easy to cover a Z receiver when you leave him on the outside. And then the fact that they weren't throwing him more inside or slants or working to where he had to take coverage inside or do some things. And if they did, he got targeted some, but I just don't think even if that's the only threat, I just think that the high percentage trying to throw the fade on the outside or throwing a couple balls up to go get it. I just haven't seen him attack the ball that way. So I think they kind of got out of rhythm. They got out of they didn't have an answer for, hey, if you stop the running game, what do we do with the passing game? And then how do we take who is our best weapon and how do we free that person up? So again, that in-game strategy, that what if scenario that happened, it happened to Arizona and they didn't answer the bell.
That's why I was so happy with the secondary, because they put the graphic up there of the 20-yard plus shots, like the deep ball shots that Kyler Murray was taking. He was like 0 for 5 against the Lions secondary. Last week, he was 5 for 5 with 2 touchdowns. This secondary had a crash course in the first 2 games. You're a brand new secondary. You're going up week 1 against Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, and then week 2 against Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So you go there and you're like, okay, it's just Marvin Harrison Jr. Thank you. Like we finally only have one guy to worry about. So they look so much better than they did in the first couple weeks.
Yeah, I think a part of the
Sorry. And I was going to say, one thing I love about football is the whole chess game. And I know, Herman, you were talking a lot about on Twitter in the first half about what the Lions defense was having to do and respond to what the Cardinals offense was doing in order to attack it. I'm curious what that had to do with the play of the secondary, you think, and how that adjusted over the course of the game.
Well, anytime you have an offensive unit, you know what their MO is. And they're then going to have certain game plans. They're going to change maybe 10, 15% of their actual plays to kind of fit to where they feel they can take advantage of weaknesses that an opponent may have offensively or defensively. And when you go in and you use that, it's under the assumption that your main plays are going to bear fruit, that they're going to work. And when they don't, and you have to go to what you think is your least approachable way to win a football game, now you're stuck in the mud. And they got there very quickly and they just could not get it over. I think the turning tide for them was right before the half. Looks like it was going to be an interception for a pick 6. The whistle's blown dead. I think that took some wind out of their sail because the offense had fallen flat and it just never seemed to recover. And they came in with a game plan that actually, in fact, was working. And it was keeping them very much close in the game. And then they started getting into penalties, started getting into long down and distance and situations, and it just wasn't working. I think even on fooling themselves on, I think the 4th down play, instead of just taking your chance, your number 4 running team. That's like us telling the Lions I know it's Kyler Murray. He's going to try and sneak out on the right side with a play action fake. But sometimes you just got to do what you do, and you just got to make it work. And I think sometimes you can overthink it. But no, I think that coming in, there was definite plans that they had. I think they started out defensively, wanted to play this offense, like I said, in a man coverage. They wanted to try and take away some of those plays that we talked about. But what they didn't account for is the Lions being disciplined and saying, you know what, we're just going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball until you take something away from us. And Arizona was just really never willing to take it away. And again, man, I'm going to give one more kudos. I know we'll get to it on the passing game with St. Brown. But you got to give a lot of kudos and a lot of respect to this young man, because you want to talk about someone being so clutch on 3rd down and you need it type deal. I mean, he is the guy that they're going to. And even though that, I don't know if the defense just falls asleep or falls apart or just what happens when you don't go into the mode of saying, you know what, anyone else that's not named Amon-Ra St. Brown, we will allow you to make a play and feel good about it. And you allow him to continuously destroy you and keep the chains moving at critical times when you need to get this team off the field is beyond me. So kudos to him. Kudos to Ben Johnson saying, listen, we're going to keep coming to you. And we just got to make plays. And he made plays. So that was something that was good to see as well.
He was all over the field with the playmaking too. Like even a little, I know it was part of the play, but even the pass he had to Jahmyr Gibbs, this game was Amon-Ra's game in terms of our offense. And shout out to JG too. JG played a pretty good game outside the interception.
13 for 13 or something like that.
Yeah,
I think he started like 12 for 12 or something like that. But yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown, just absolute playmaker today, all over the field, passing off to Gibbs, getting the first down. Our guy Mike, that's what he calls him, Amon-Ra first down, and just it's for that reason, Herm. Every time you need one on 3rd down, even going back to that playoff game, the first one we had since you guys did it in Ford Field, that's where Jared Goff went to, Yeah. Seal the deal.
I'm going to start looking up these defensive coordinators to find out, what their philosophy is and what they're overthinking. And if they want to continue to do that, hey, kudos. We'll take it all day. But I just know when we used to play, you knew teams were going to come in, and unless you showed that you could make them get out of what they were trying to take away from you, which is always going to be your number one, number two weapons, then there's no reason to do any other thing defensively. It just isn't, because now you're just mano a mano. You're just going player to player, and you're winning individual battles. But when you don't put your team in a position to where you at least take away the most potent things and then make them beat the individual, and you turn into individual battles, that's always the key.
Herman, what's a good catch percentage for receivers?
Career wise or game wise?
Career.
Oh, that's a tough one. I think if anyone's over 50%, 60% is good, because there are so many factors that go into play. It's if you're a high percentage traffic catcher, then and you have high percentage catches, that's awesome. If you're wide open, or if you're running a lot of possession styles, I think if you're a possession receiver, you need to be in that high 60s to 70 plus in your percentage range.
Yeah, because we got this new stat thing. I was looking up St. Brown, so I wanted to see what he did. So last season and this season, he's 77.6% on first down, 66.2 on second. He's 71.4% on third down.
Yep, that's an excellent range for when you're more of a possession style receiver, because you're not going to fight man a lot, and you're not going to fight the double coverage a lot. So your percentage catch should be high. When you look at, again, if you go over and look at someone like, for instance, a Justin Jefferson, or you go look at someone who's going to run a lot of deep routes, your catch percentage is going to naturally go down, because, when you get into the red zone, if you're more of a red zone threat, well, everyone knows you're getting the ball. So it becomes a little bit more difficult. So you don't get to be 6 for 6 attempts before you have your first miss. You're earning it a lot doing that way. But that's an excellent percentage for him, and I think if he stays there, he becomes, one of the, if not, one of the most valuable players on that offense.
So an interesting thing, really quick, and then we can get off this topic of Justin Jefferson, because type that in real quick. He's 77.8% on first, 70.2% on second, and to your point, 54.5% on third.
Wow.
Yep. When he's coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's I know we're talking pass catchers. We got Herman Moore on. We're talking about receivers, but I just got to go back to the run game, because that's what opened that up. Is when you have David Montgomery running for 4 or 5 yards a carry, those linebackers creep up a little bit. Jared Goff can loft it over him, find that little soft spot in the zone where Amon-Ra makes his money right in the middle of the field. It all starts with establishing that run game that opens up the entire offense.
It does, because you also, again, Spence, even to that, you have to bring and commit more people to the line. You have to commit people down closer, and then that does open it up. And even though you may not go behind that, you look for your play action. That's what makes the play action pass effective. That's what makes it, when you do bootlegs, or you do misdirections and all these things, that becomes valuable, because you it's not they're faking you out. You have to go with the first look. You have to trust if they're looking like they're attempting to hand it off, and then he pulls it back out, and then he throws it down the field. Then it's nothing you can do about that. You just hope you can get back to space. So it's a really good philosophy. I think the running game itself is the MVP that makes it all go. It's what makes Jared Goff the better quarterback. I think it's what loosens it up for the receivers to be able to get downfield. And then let's give kudos to the line, the offensive line too, because Jared Goff, he sacked twice, but at the same time, it didn't cost them. It didn't cost them in the big ways. It didn't convert because there was a fumble, or sack fumble, or strip fumble, or throwaways that resulted in interceptions. And that's all you look for. You fight and you come back, because you have the ability to do that. And offensively, they did that. We talked about offensively and the defensive side of the ball. Today was just a balanced football team that took care of business. Offense did their part. They controlled the drives. Defense got the team off the field, which increased the time of possession for your offense to have those sustaining drives. And again, this is killer scenarios and situations that you just can't overcome if you're Arizona, if you can't get a team off the field and if you can't stop the offense.
Yep. And I think Kevin Zeitler
really is insanely good with the play action.
Yeah.
He throws a very catchable pass too, man. I look at his, the passes he throws, man. He's not throwing it too hard at the guys. He's not putting it in awkward spots, man. He's a very accurate passer. I don't think people give him as much credit as they should. Has he made mistakes and will he have some turnovers here and there? Yeah, but most of the time, man, he's just very good with the football.
And I think a big part of that offensive line and that run game and protecting Goff, Kevin Zeitler seemed like he was better in this game. He was more settled down, new team next to Penei Sewell, didn't really get to work out with him in the offseason because of injuries in training camp. So this game, he seemed more settled down. Him and Penei had better communication than we saw in the first two games, and that really, I saw him out in the run game, moving those linebackers, getting up to the second level. That's what you like to see out of a guard, moving those guys around, especially with the way Ben Johnson does his run schemes.
Okay, so we got the question of, is this a top 5 defense? I would actually ask too, how do you, what do you, well, first of all, no, but how do you, what are you going to take into consideration? Obviously, it's got to be anecdotal because you can't say how many yards, you can't say,
Top 10. I'll say top 10. I'm not going to say top 5 yet, but I'll say top 10. I mean, if Hutch is getting 4.5 sacks every game, then yeah, it's a top 5 defense, but they played a complete game. I'd say top 10, not top 5 just yet.
Yeah, I would say this. Yeah, I'll let Eazy go first, and then I'll jump in.
Listen, I've been hesitant to say top 10 from the off season, even in season, but I mean it's creeping up there. If not top 10, top 12. You look at the back half of this game, and you heard me say it perfectly. It's a really balanced game plan. Then none of us scored in the second half. I think the Cardinals kicked the field goal. Maybe we might have kicked the field goal, but no, I don't think we had. Did we have a touchdown? I think Gibbs. No, we didn't score at all in the second half. Everything came in the first and second quarters. So that defense is to hold them out while we didn't put up anything else. Listen, that's 3 second times now. I think the teams are around like 20 points or so. So yeah, top 12, top 10. I'm cool with
getting off the field on third down too is just so refreshing from last year. Last year they could not get off the field on third down. And in this game, we saw them. They stop the run, boom, you're at 2nd and 10. They drop a ball, 3rd and 10 immediately, just like that, and then they get off the field, and your offense is right back out there running it down their throat again. So getting off the field on third down was huge.
Yeah, I think when I talk about defense or look at this defense for the Lions, they are top half of the NFL. Yes, top 10, no, not at this moment, because I just think there's still some work to be done. I think there's still some exposure places. I just don't think they've played offenses that are complete, where you have you may have talent, but they don't have a healthy line that they're going that's sitting there holding your defense out. You play with a Arizona team, which you already know they're limited in their offensive firepower. We knew Lions had far more offensive firepower than Arizona, and against Tampa Bay, I think there was some exposure that was done there when there's time, and then you also have the combination of a quarterback that's mobile. So there are some problems that have been exposed that this defense has to still deal with, and it wasn't like it was resolved because they fixed it against Arizona. No, they fixed it because this was a team in Arizona that wasn't as talented as some of the other teams they're going to face. That's going to give them more problems, and they're going to have higher play than what we saw today. So not really quite crown them that, but I'm not ready to throw them under the bus or say that this is a defense that you can't win with, because I think they have talent, they have players. I think the interior line, I think there's got to be more on your pass rush and your edge rush than Hutch as you continue to go down the season, because if something happens there, then what do you have? You got a quarterback that has time and opportunity. Secondary, I think they're going to be challenged when teams have long sustaining drives and they have speed. When you have a lot of speed players, there's a tendency to want to grab. There's a tendency to get a little too aggressive or to be too far off, and teams will pick that apart. So there's some other teams they're going to face that I think are going to give them greater challenges than what we saw today defensively. But I say you take it one game at a time and you do what you're supposed to do against a team like Arizona and come away with the win, and you limit their ability to put hurt on you.
Top 10, top 10, top 10.
Top 10, top 10, top 10.
Yeah, top 10 is a goal for them. I think if this defense becomes top 10, if the offense goes top 5 for the season, defense cracks into the top 10 and consistently stays there, then this is a playoff bound team. And I know everybody is early. I'm not sitting there going that, giving them an automatic in, but I'm saying if they can have that kind of play and they can continue to have that type of development, I see that there are games that are going to give them challenges. But I'm not going to completely look now. If we want to be jaded as Lion, fans or former players that play with the Lions and think we know more than we think we know.
How
When I
many of
saw
us
Green
fall in
Bay
that
and I
category?
saw what happened with the Vikings today, I think we saw the real teams in them. They have a balance on defense. I think they have good defenses. They have good strategy and structure. They have offensive weapons. They have balanced attacks where they have run and they have pass catchers. Those are going to be some challenging things within the division that I want to see. It's no longer where you go, oh, I think they're going to sweep the division. No, there's not. No one's just going to let them walk in and be like, hey, you got it. You guys are the Lions. You went one game away from the Super Bowl last year, and so yeah, we're just going to sit back and let this happen. It's not going to happen. So there are some things when you start to compare it in that context, it gets to be different. But again, take the win today, and you just prepare for what comes down the line.
I did like what you said about Arnold and about how he's always in the right position. And even for a laywoman like me who doesn't necessarily know technique as much, it's clear he's in the right place and he's following the receiver. So it seems like he's got the talent, right? And you're just honing in the fundamentals and the technique.
Yeah, and some of that he's going to get away with as he gets to become more of a veteran. They won't call those things. It's just it's one of those things. I'm telling you, I've seen more egregious plays by some veteran players, and we know how that works. That will do a lot more. That won't get PIs called against them. They won't get the holding plays. And if you're going against just as talented wide receivers, they let them battle. Yep. And so with Arnold, I wouldn't change anything that he's got going on. I wouldn't over coach him, over talk him, and say, hey, you need to do less of this. I hear people say, hey, you got to use his hands less. No, stay in that position, become more alert, continue to work on your craft. You're playing it smart, and he's making plays when others are letting down. I mean, I watch some times where he's covering other players' mistakes when he's in certain coverages because he just instinctively knows that, hey, if I let this guy go and I chase my guy, I'm opening it up to where there's going to be a bigger play that may happen over the top. So those are some of the things that when you break down film that you see, I wouldn't change a lot about him right now. Really impressed with the rookie. Absolutely.
I see highlights they play of Sauce Gardner putting hands on people more than I've seen calls flags being thrown for Terrion Arnold. So he's I don't know what it is. They're just picking on him because he's a young guy.
I know he's got to be mad. I know he's got to be mad because I see Carlton Davis grabbing dudes on the other side and he's not getting any calls. So Terrion's like, man, I grabbed dude once and they throw the flag on me. But he played a good game. He played a very good game today. Again, kind of a crash course. Welcome to the league, Rook. Here's Cooper Kupp. Here's Mike Evans, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. So he had it was a bounce, kind of an off game where he didn't have to worry about going up against one of the best receivers in football, but he played very well. I was very happy with his performance.
There's this play on the inside. They finally ran him on the inside. I think it was like out of the slot. And I don't know who's guarding. Maybe it was Davis or whoever. And they're with him. Then you just see these arms, just like almost like a Pokemon or something. Just nowhere grab that ball. I'm like, that's not even fair. Like, right? What are you supposed to do about that?
Yeah, and he's got size too. So when you see the receivers pushing on him a little bit, they're not able to push him away a lot. Sometimes we use that subtle elbow push inside when they're grabbing us to kind of get that little bit of separation. But because of his size, and it looks like he's got some pretty decent strength, that he's just playing, in my opinion, a lot better than I thought he would play as a rookie. And that gives me so much confidence. And then when you take and you put in there two safeties that are young, that are playing lights out, that are just a ball hogs. These guys are around the football. It's almost like because they're chasing one guy. How many times every time Harrison would go up for a pass, you see like 2 or 3 guys over there, and it's like they're like, we don't even care. We're just gonna chase that area. Yeah. And they were almost looked like they were competing for the interceptions. But if I'm Aaron Glenn, I'm giving him good marks today because I thought he played a very solid game. I don't think they were just challenged as much because there was lack of depth and talent for Arizona. But I think they did what they were supposed to do against a team that didn't have the weapons. And then offensively, like we said, I think the OCs and the DC today did what was needed to sustain this victory, keep this team elevated, and then have that bounce back win that every team looks for. And they had to do it on the road.
Yeah.
So Herman, when you watch your own film and there's somebody trying to drape all over you, what is it you say to yourself, or when you said it?
Oh yeah, no. But I used to like that because I like to know where they are.
And what did you say? You
said people didn't understand that philosophy, but that's just the way we played. It didn't matter about the space. I had long arms, and also if I knew he was on the back, it was all about positioning at this point. And I was a hands catcher, so I was always going to be at the advantage as long as the ball was within a certain radius, high or low, wherever it may be. But the aggressive play can get you out of match. When you get a guy that's going to be ultimately ultra aggressive with you at the line, it can throw you off as a wide receiver because you're thinking too much about the physicality that happens at the line of scrimmage versus getting into your route. So you're anticipating that. So there's some strategy to being very physical as well. But so far so good.
And if you question whether Herman Moore thrives under pressure, all you have to do is go golfing with the man. We're out for a charity event today, and he'll hit golf balls on behalf of others for a donation to his charity. And he encourages those around him to heckle. You're supposed to be silent when people are golfing. People are all big about that. No, Herman's like, I like it when it's loud. He wants you to tell him you're gonna hit that into the water. He thrives on it.
Talk a little trash. You know what? I like noise. Like I when I'm sitting there, I like them to heckle. I like them to make noise. I like them to just be distracting because that's what I'm used to. When it's quiet, I'm wondering what's happening. Like that means to me when it's really, really quiet that we're doing something wrong or we're losing. And like that's it. It's like there's no reason for it to be silenced when I step up to doing anything I do. So there you go. I appreciate that, CZ.
It's impressive, actually. I mean, I see people, that they choke in those clutch situations. He truly, the more nerve-wracking it should be for the rest of the world, he loves it. Loves it.
I think the best drive of my life was a group of like these older guys let me and my buddy play through. And so they're all just sitting there waiting. And I get up there on the tee box and just rip 250 right down the middle. I was like, oh, yeah, that felt good.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what is it that everybody has to do to what is it everybody has to do to enter to win? What do they have to put in the chat?
MVPs. Put your MVP from the game, whether it be offense, defense. You could put Jack Fox. However,
Jack Fox had some nice punts.
Selected. You'll be winning an autographed Herman Moore rookie card with the
graded rookie card. This is a graded rookie card. This is even better than that. And you have to like and subscribe. So
like and subscribe.
How about we go around and give your MVPs, although we are not eligible for.
Yeah, I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, I won't give the value of what those have been going for online. So I mean, this isn't a little slouch we're giving away. So just letting you know.
If you want to see other cards, you can go to his eBay, which is actually his eBay that he actually converses in sometimes.
About hey, Mom, I need you to enter this contest.
So I know we talked about the MVPs. I wanted to touch on a couple ones. So, when we go around the horn then. I mean, I don't know if you're about ready to go around the horn yet, Chris, and start to see who we're giving those game balls to. And I think we were doing when we had our other guy on, we were doing game balls and trash cans. We'll do that tomorrow, but we're gonna do our game balls. I think it's time.
Oh well, mine are gonna be lame because number one, David Montgomery, because he's still on my fantasy team and I'm beating Herman. But again, no game ball worthy performance, so I'm good with it. But I actually did kind of nod towards St. Brown because I really loved his banged up last week, and he came up with some really clutch catches. So I give it to St. Brown. And then defensively, I don't know why, but I'm going with Arnold just because. I don't know.
He had a good game. I'm giving my game ball to Jack Campbell. Like the kid stepped up. Anzalone, he's the leader of the defense. He's the green dot. He's the Thor flying around there making all the tackles. Didn't go. Jack Campbell, your first round linebacker, steps in, played very well, called the defense, had people lined up, made plays, didn't get exposed. Trey McBride is a damn good tight end, and Campbell was out there making plays in coverage in the run game. It was impressive. He stepped up. He had a damn good game.
For me, offensively, I think I'm going with Amon-Ra St. Brown, kind of like I was saying earlier. Like, just he was all over the field. He was the go-to guy. I mean, there was that first touchdown, or maybe the second one. Either way, Gibbs was open for a touchdown pass. Right there.
Yeah, he was wide open.
Like, Amon-Ra there somewhere, you know. And then it worked out. And he's just that clutch, though. You make that kind of mistake, but it's not a mistake because Amon-Ra's just that nice with his hands. And then defensively, I'm kind of biased, you know. Another light-skinned brother, Brian Branch. That's
He was everywhere, man. He was flying around the field.
He is, man. He is. I hope he get. I don't know if it's a neck or head injury. What you know, he was laying the boom. That's McBride's fault, by the way, too, from tucking his head down, getting scared from impact.
Headbutted him right now.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Offensive players, you guys can just do whatever you want with your helmet. You guys don't get any calls.
Yeah.
Herman, you talked about the touchdown going to St. Brown instead of going to Gibbs. Someone asked him about that on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I'll talk on that one real quick, and then I'll give you my MVPs and why. But you know, when you have them out, there's a combination route that's being run, and if St. Brown breaks out, then that's when you're going to switch off, and the guy on the inside that's spying, if he goes inside, is going to leave because they think he's doing an out route break. So that's done by design. So the minute he goes out and he does a whip route and he comes back underneath and he basically does a pivot and comes back inside, he knows there's nothing inside. So basically Jared Goff has to put it right on him or put it somewhere where the defensive back can't get to it. And it's just a great play call and play recognition, in-game management by Ben Johnson. But also, even if it wasn't him, I don't know if the quarterback even recognizes and able to call that. But when you have that combination route, the quarterback can go to either person. So that you may have two guys open. It's just basically you pick one and you get rid of the football. So he picked St. Brown. He thought he was going to stare him down. He thought that was the place he wanted to go. If you look, it wasn't a hesitation. He saw immediately once that defensive back on the inside of St. Brown vacated that area, he knew he was going to whip back out of that in a pivot move, and then he was going to have him wide open. So I thought that was safe either way. But my MVPs, yeah, I'll tell you like this. So out of the bat, I'm giving it to St. Brown. I got to give it to my guy, man. He's for the second straight week, he was just basically putting daggers after dagger into killing the opportunity to switch and give the ball back to the Arizona Cardinals defense. And because he didn't do that, he was breaking the spirit too. He was also keeping the drives. He was killing the clock. He was giving those guys, the running backs, the opportunity for more running plays. And sometimes that often gets overlooked, and people don't realize that, yeah, that's what contributes to the run game actually working, because one guy who gets it very few times is able to give the offense 5 or 6 more touches. So I give it to St. Brown, and then defensively, I'm going to give my ball to Terrion Arnold. I think it's due, man. This young guy is being thrown into the fire. He's had some tough guys, some pass interference calls. He's being picked on, but yet he comes out and he plays down and out. If he lets go, he's going to give up big plays. So I'm going to go sometimes with the ones that may not have the stats, but they're going to have the job well done that keeps it so someone else can shine. And that's what I give him for those two. But if I had to pick dual MVPs, like that type of deal, I'm going with both my running backs, because I would just split that baby up, man, give both of those guys and let them share that MVP, because the running game was on point. Or I could go over and give it to my 2 safeties. So there you go. Yeah. And I'd feel perfectly okay and justified in giving those out.
Keith makes a good point.
Today, he donated a touchdown to Jahmyr Gibbs. He's like, you know what? I know I stole that one earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little something on my plate.
Hey, man, let me tell you what else, man. First of all, they got to work on these dances, man. I don't know. I'm feeling them, but I'm not feeling them. Like, I get it, but I'm almost like each week we're going to have to come out here and start giving these guys some type of a grade. We got to, if it's showtime at the Apollo, or we're doing the Gong Show, or we're doing something, because they got to step it up, man. I feel like it's going, the dances and all that stuff is going downhill, man.
Packers did some sort of seated thing today. Did anyone see that? I don't know what it was.
Mm-mm.
They all sat down in rows.
It's not working, and I just want more out of it. Come on, man.
That'll be our next TikTok. We'll be doing dance demonstrations.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start throwing dance flags.
Herman, you should do them. You should give your examples of what you think is appropriate and not appropriate.
For a dance?
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
I think one of my favorite ones was when Devontae Smith stole all the presents out of the bin in
awesome.
Dallas when he took them all out of the Red Cross bin, and that was cool. I like that one.
Yeah, that was A+.
Okay, Herman, for you, would you do this or would it be too far for you? If in your day you could do this, would you hide props and use them in an end zone performance?
Yeah. The cell phone is
as long as I wouldn't get fined or anything like that, but now I take that back, man. The fines they putting out today, even if you fine me 5,000, 10,000, 30,000, and I'm making 25 million, I mean, donate it, and they say it goes to charity. So if it's going to charity, hey man, I love giving to the kids. Herman love the kids. Hey, listen, listen, the one I saw that was pretty cool. The Lions, we've seen some. They're cool. They're okay, right? But one that caught me completely off guard was the one when Baker. They showed it. I don't know if you've seen it, where it's Tampa Bay. Baker throws a touchdown last year, and he throws it, I think it's to a tight end. Tight end catches it. He runs down the field. He slides, and somehow he's kind of slides, and then he comes up on one knee like he's a photographer.
Doing the camera, yeah.
The guy's doing the catwalk, whatever. Dude, come on, man. The red carpet, come on.
That was pretty cool.
That was sweet.
Baker slid in there. It was so clean.
It was so on point. It was like, I was like, okay, that's what's up.
So you thought of what you would do. So what would you do? You've thought.
I haven't thought. No, not yet.
Oh,
I haven't thought about it yet. I haven't thought about it yet.
My favorite was T.O. took the popcorn.
The popcorn was great. Yeah.
I
like the ones where everybody falls down, like they do a bomb or something, and everyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to like that one. That first one, the guy was like, "Fire in the hole."
Yeah.
Throw it up, and then everybody's like that. Yeah.
Golden Tate against the Vikings when he
the flip.
Yeah, when he put his ass right in that dude's face right before he scored the touchdown. Like, that was great. That was the most disrespectful touchdown ever.
That's all I'm looking for. I'm just looking for something that just like, come on, they got time. They don't even do practices like they used to do. Like I remember we used to be there all day. It's almost like we were being held hostage. All right, these guys get out early. They don't go in on like Monday. Mondays and Tuesday is not that big of a deal. Wednesday and Thursday, you're really not in pads or anything. And then Friday is easy. Saturday, you got all this time. Come on. Y'all need to get together. They need to have a class and everyone go in and start working on these daggone dances because the Lions are going to be in the end zone. So I'm telling the guys, if anything, they better step that up. Otherwise,
I think Spencer's onto something. I think you need to come up with stuff, and we'll do demos. And
Tony Scheffler used to have good dances. It's kind of
Scheffler
had some good dances when he did. Yeah, he did the Buccaneer. That was cool.
Canton did the Dougie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Or when Gesicki did the gritty. Oh man.
Okay. So now what would be cool? Why don't they just do a Soul Train line?
And let that would actually be sweet.
The Soul Train line, but let the linemen do it because the linemen don't get any love.
Yeah.
Let the linemen do the Soul Train line and let them come down doing some, and all that stuff right there.
They should do a Temptations, and then the touchdown scorer does the step out, the slide out.
That would be a cool one. Now you just got a mic, and they all come in, and now all of a sudden you bringing the boy bands back or whatever. Like, damn. I mean,
everybody
other stuff where they just get in there and they're like, all of a sudden it's like do a dance, and everybody's like, and then they start doing stuff, and it's like that was you could tell that was spontaneous. You go, nah, no.
All right, so your assignment now, you come up with ideas.
Okay, we'll do that. You got the awesome threesome right here, so yeah, we'll come up with something.
Yeah, we're gonna do, and then you three are gonna act them out.
I loved when they banned the dunking on the goalpost, and Calvin he used to do the finger roll instead of the dunk. He would do the finger roll that was pretty cool.
Joy could go into the stands.
And even though they were bad, the Joe Fourier's when he's just going crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, he was funny. And then there was Roy that always went and did first down. He did the
Golf hit the first down, Sully, when he got the first down. I was like, all right. Okay, JG. I like that. Yeah.
I think they give some thought to it. I'm telling you, like, man, can you imagine if all of a sudden they start doing some type of Temptations dance moves and stuff like that with a mic
Herman.
and someone singing. Come on, or James Brown bring the cape and put the cape on him and throw the cape off. You know,
Herman,
please,
you should start.
please.
You should start.
You know, come on, man.
So Herman, you're an entrepreneur. You start businesses all the time. You need to do a business where you are the Endzone dance consultant for the NFL.
Yeah, there it is. Choreographer.
You can consult with receivers as
go.
their choreographer.
That is good.
I got something for you. And they don't even need props. They just have to you just have to know the scene that you're acting and do it. And then that way people get it. Like it actually has meaning, and it has a runway, right? And it becomes evergreen. And the other thing is it's easier to put music to it. And it's easier to make it go really, really viral because you can actually throw something to it that makes it work. That's all. This other stuff they're making it up, man. It's too many kids. It's too many of them that didn't go to the right schools or something, man. They can't. There's some challenges there. Just like no, we can't. No.
Herman, do you do a James Brown impersonation?
Mr. Please himself? Come on. Mr. Dynamite? Come on.
Get up. Get on him.
With my girlfriend. Mr. Please
these guys to do it. They'll do
Hit
it.
me.
Hey.
God.
Hey.
Come back. Make me want to kiss myself.
Yeah. Hey.
I watched an
Serious?
interview on like CNN, and every answer was the same thing. It was like an ad lib from his song.
Yeah.
Like, how you your show today? It was like, hey.
James only had like 5 words to the whole song.
Yeah, I swear.
And it would go for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
If you can't lip sync a James Brown song, there's some problems.
That's what Eddie Murphy was saying when the band wouldn't even know what he's saying. Just, yeah. Yeah. That's good stuff.
You're too young to be knowing about that right there. Come on now.
Oh, that's
what's that? Raw?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we'll put something together. We'll put together a suggested choreography list for them, and we'll pass it along to DetroitLions.com, and hopefully they'll pick it up and give it to their players, and then let them do it. Like let us get involved with now making and feel like we're part of integrating into letting them put these moves together.
Well, look, if anyone watching is interested in seeing the end zone stylings of one Mr. Herman Moore, Mr. Spencer, Mr. Eazy,
yeah, I can dance.
Let us know in the comments, and we'll go.
I had about 7 weddings this year. I was getting down.
Oh, you can cut a step?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I heard they almost called the ambulance on them. They thought something was going on over there.
No, that was you. You tearing your meniscus and stuff at weddings. It's all on the hips and the shoulders. All on the hips and shoulders.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
All right. Now, hey, hey. Y'all, you know what? Y'all are gonna really make us hilarious.
Oh, I'm ready. I gotta think of.
Remember, they were already dancing at the NFL draft party at Soaring Eagle. Remember?
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
see, there's no shame in our game. That's what makes for a good skit and a good thing anyway, because you have to be willing to go out and do just something a little bit different. All within taste, but you have to be able to go out.
It's
and just,
something I've always been
full of love into it.
I've always been fully impressed with your willingness to commit.
Oh yeah,
you commit to every role.
You're not gonna go hard, go home. Come on.
Yeah. All right.
Don't come in here soft stepping.
All right, so we're all excited. Lions are winners.
Great
Leave your
win.
MVP in the comments, because what can people win? We'll leave it open until tomorrow morning.
Oh yeah,
they can win a graded rookie card.
Graded rookie card given personally to one Mr. Herman Moore back in what year?
It was 1991, and just so to put that stank on it, to put a little bit more on it, is this. It was my very first rookie card picture that I had taken, because it was when I came to the Silverdome. They said, hey, we have, I think it was NFL Properties or NFL, whatever it is. They were here. They had their camera set up, and they was like, I wasn't even ready for it. They gave me a jersey and some shoulder pads. They put this on. Here's a football. Stand here. We taking this picture for this Pro-Line Portraits. That's what it's called. So it's going to be a Pro-Line Portrait, 1991. And it's not the card that's the 281. If you see the one that has a 281 on it, that's the basic card. That's your common card. That's your regular one. Mine does not have that. It has a little stick. It has a little embossed logo in the corner.
And no number.
That lets you know that it's certified. And those are the ones that are hard to find.
So make sure you make sure you subscribe, and put your MVP in the chat for a chance to win the Herman Moore rookie card. Graded Herman Moore rookie card.
Herman, what was the pose that you did what's the pose you did in the picture?
Oh, I'm just sitting there with my high top kid and play fade. I had a little nappy one too, man. It was a little rough, but you know, I was a lot lighter, a lot thinner, you know, whatever. But you know, it's fire. It's fire.
And make sure you go follow him if you haven't already. So everybody go celebrate the Lions win. Not too hard. Monday tomorrow. And we will see you tomorrow for Herman Lowe.
There it is.
Right.
Deuces.
Peace.